Throughout the process of growing spiritually, we reach a point when we realize that we no longer want to tolerate or put up with certain things, situations, or people. This realization normally takes place at our lowest point, the point of make it or break it, rock bottom. But it also takes place at the point when we are ready to make a leap of consciousness, a quantum jump into the integration of our personal power. It's like a test of our determination, intention, and progression. And we also know that when we find ourselves at this point, we either break through in a forward motion or we stay stuck, paralyzed in fear, slowly asphyxiating in our current stagnant situation. We see it all the time. And usually it is the point when we realize that we have nothing to lose and everything to win. It's not normal, although it is prevalent in society to shrink under the strain of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. This is why so many people live lives without enthusiasm, motivation. They lack in luster, usually misusing their special gifts, hidden under the veil of self-perception of being average. I don't know if people are average. I think they just haven't found their secret gift. But I believe that we are all special in our own way. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be here. And if this is the crossroads in which we find ourselves, we need to find our special strength. It usually comes out of despair or inner desire to release our shackles and claim our destiny. Sometimes it just takes this oomph, this point of motivation. It is then that we can gather our inner power and say, I've had enough. And we say it in total calm. I've had enough. Enough is enough. And then comes the liberation, the awakening, the freedom that encourages us to take the necessary actions, which for some reason we couldn't do before. But now we are tempered, like the sword in the fire. Now we are tempered. So this is normally a turnaround time from behaving like victims to embracing our self-empowered selves. But why and how does this happen? Throughout the process of growing up, we are taught to place our faith in others rather than on ourselves. We learn to doubt our own intuition to such extent that we always seem to find the reason why we should follow other people's guidance or do what they say or give them another chance, even though we know many times that it doesn't work for us. The alternative to fight the status quo, which is not easy, especially when we feel disempowered and at the mercy of the world around us, we feel we don't have a choice. During the struggle, we entertain a main conversation with our own inner selves along the following lines. What's wrong with you? How can you be so, whatever you normally call yourself? If you didn't mean it, why don't you give it another chance? And like that. Another possible inner conversation could be, who are you to know? Who do you think you are? How do you dare? We talk to ourselves like this all the time. Reading these paragraphs now, it makes me laugh because I can see they are ridiculous. However, when I was growing up, I really lacked any personal power. So my thinking was that they were right, I wasn't, they knew, I didn't. I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just kind of surviving, I guess. I was disempowered and unconscious. Really a bad combination if you are in the pursuit of joy and happiness. Nevertheless, no matter what our mind tells us, we always have a little inner whisper that confirms whether we are on the right or wrong track. It is our intuition. When we go against our intuition because we think that others know better, or due to any other reason, we get stuck in negative, repetitive cycles, which will continue to repeat themselves until we can break them by an empowered and willful act. After all, we attract people, situations, and events that are perfect for us. We said it before, that we are supposed to. And today, like a chess player, I see myself strategizing about with whom I should interact or not, where I should be, what I should be doing. And as I move the pieces regularly, I position the people and circumstances in my life so that I can keep a regular balanced outlook and a flexible approach. But in the end, change is unavoidable. So everything that we tell ourselves in order to prevent such change will always backfire. The only way to move forward and keep fully sane in these crazy times is to be loyal to our own truth, because betraying ourselves causes us great pain at soul level. We tolerate behaviors in others less than acceptable. We tolerate living a life not up to our full potential. We tolerate living in a numb of pain and mediocrity. We dull our senses and our world becomes gray, lacking in color, lacking in shine. And others will push us beyond where we are willing to go. I know now that they do so because of their own fear. Even when their behavior is less than acceptable, they rather push their limits in order to avoid losing a position of power and control. In fact, they would do anything to avoid losing you, their free source. In fact, they would do anything to avoid losing you, their free source of energy. And they will not do this without a fight. Rather than working on their own connection to spirits and the universal currents of information so as to create their own permanent source of energy, like energy vampires that will manipulate our emotions in order to get what they can from us. It is always easier than assuming full responsibility for where they are at in their lives. But these power struggles limit their and our potential. At some point, they must come to an end. You just can't take someone else's energy permanently. You can't just take it. It's not yours to take. Like a rubber band that is being stretched to its maximum, if you don't stop pulling at some point, it will snap. And this is the tug of war power struggles that we see these days on the television all the time, at home as well, friends, family, even at work, and throughout the history of humanity. The question is, how much longer are you willing to give away your power under false assumptions? Some say that this is true generosity, expects nothing in return. In that case, you must give to yourself before you can give to others. Otherwise, you will run on empty, and then what good can you be for others? Let's not lie to ourselves. It is not a good idea to try to give to others what you don't have. In fact, I think it is an impossibility, a lie we tell to ourselves, a mirage. And certainly, it is not a good idea to give to someone else for fear of their forcing you to behave like they want to. It is your right to follow your path. It is your right to chart your own course. Then just let the universe bring you lessons. Don't let others limit your potential by their own shortcomings. Some people think that they must do more because they can, because they are more capable, because they are more determined, they have more skill, and they tell you what to do, or they take over what you should be doing. We all need to be responsible. We can only grow if we take responsibility. Someone takes the responsibility for your actions, even if they think they are helping you, they actually enmeshing you. So, inadvertently, they are disempowering us. And this will bury us, because the self wants to break free. The lesson in this situation for you and them is that you need to learn to allow others to be accountable for their own actions. And you need to demand that others let you be accountable for your own actions. And this is spiritual justice, even though sometimes it looks like human injustice. But it isn't. Or, in the case when you're scared to do or say something because a loved one will leave you or be angry with you, are you willing to spend the rest of your life thinking that you don't deserve better? I learned very early on my life that I was better off by myself than surrounded by people who did not want my best. And in fact, that's codependence. And as the years went by, I attracted wonderful people in my life. So I'm glad that I was brave enough to believe in myself and stand on my own 2 feet at the times I asked for it. So, what are the strategies that you should take on in order to turn around your possible present lack of personal power and turn yourself into a magnet that which will attract opportunities that you always dreamt of? Consider the following. First, you need to come to terms with the presence of toxic people in your life. Forgive them. Forgive yourself for having tolerated them longer than you think you should have. Forgive yourself for not having been stronger, for not having seen other choices or possibilities. Obviously, you were not ready. And you are ready now because you are reading this or watching this video. Then, if you cannot forgive the others, at least be aware that this is how you feel, and certainly do not make them wrong for you feeling like this. Responsibility. You don't want to stay trapped in a spiral of negativity, a karmic cycle or loop, which will take you in the opposite way from that in which you want to go. Secondly, focus on finding your strengths, since others can only hurt you when you surrender your power to them. Obviously, when you are strong, you won't surrender your power to them. And they may think they can, but this is not true. This power over you will disappear the moment you decide to stop showing your vulnerable side to them. When you stop playing their games, they can no longer manipulate you. There are lots of strategies that we can adopt as we learn to do this, which is one of the toughest spiritual lessons of all, to stay anchored in the storm. In the meantime, remember that it's not about what reality presents to you, but how you react to the circumstances, which takes your power away. Third, this third aspect is to practice self-development in order to get to know yourself. As you get to know who you are, your strengths and weaknesses will balance themselves out, and it is then that you will become energetically stable. At this point, it is much more difficult for others to bring you down, manipulate you, or use strategies to shock you into forcing you to be in the place they want you to be. Your own self-awareness is your best defense. Next step is to make a contingency plan to become independent. When you are codependent, others take the positions of privilege over you and demand that you pay back by conforming to what they ask of you, because you depend on them, codependent. Here you need to gather a reserve of money, time, energy, so you can free yourself to be able to take the steps as indicated by your intuitive guidance. All in all, you will also over time, and as you work to step onto a bigger life, need to create a support system of friends and family. Part of the work will lead you to eventually make peace with the members of the family with whom you may have had a rift, because you want to avoid energy leaks. And you will need to make amends with the past so you can look positively towards the future. This is very delicate work. Many people forget to practice extreme self-care when they are undergoing these healing shifts, but your needs must come first, and then those of the others. This is the only way for you to anchor yourself and make progress and remain centered in self-love and self-acceptance. If you have to worry about the needs of others and accommodate them into your life choices, then if their expectations of you are more important than your own self-acceptance, you will not be able to become independent. Finally, be grateful for all what you already have accomplished in terms of people, material things, life status, self-regard. This will prevent you from needing other people's approval or acceptance because you are strong, centered at heart level. As long as you know you are good, you don't need other people to tell you how good you are. That's what we need to know when we are little and say, did I do well? This is normal. But at some point, if we want to become independent, we have to snap out of that. When we think about how much power we really give away, and the fact that we can actually stop this process by taking responsibility for our life, our choices, our feelings, our decisions, we realize that our strength is more than sufficient to hold us together. Furthermore, we show that it is our obligation to ourselves and to the rest of the world to make it so. We are given the exact talents we need in order to accomplish this, the necessary strength to go through the trials in life and a higher guidance so we can get all the pieces of our life puzzled together. If one by one we all work individually to get there, we will make that a much better world. That world we all want so that our children and the future generations can have a safe place to live. But the starting place to make this happen is that point when we take full responsibility for our thoughts, actions and intentions and stop others reaching us in places that we are not willing to share. We have as much responsibility to be powerful as to stop others overpowering us. It is all a matter of setting our boundaries and protecting them with our integrity. And when we do, our dreams will know where to find us. Once we have learned and integrated the previous concepts, and once we commit ourselves to integrating them, one step at a time, we become alchemists. An alchemist is a magician, a person who can work with different stages of reality or dimensions in order to shift the low or base energies of something, in our case, our thoughts or feelings, emotions and beliefs, into something of a much higher frequency. In our case, the vibration of light, love, that which the universe is made out of. In one word, we transmute our reality into our highest potential. So at this stage in your development, I believe that you have succeeded at identifying some of your life cycles or transitions that have already taken place, and perhaps those in which you are involved right now. So maybe this is the perfect time to reconsider these cycles under the light of this new understanding. Seeing that you are an alchemist, working with the process of transmutation of your reality into your potential dreams, write your notes, perhaps listen to this exercise again, because it was long and in-depth, and you may have missed many details. Stop the course here, write your notes, and see where you are wrapping up, and come back when you are ready.